Oh, baby, we are back at it again. This is Doster Andrew Lake. Oh, baby, it is great to be on the mic. Hoping you're well, enjoying your time, staying safe. Rise and shine. Big shout out to the US of A, America. It is great to be with you. I really miss this. It's something I look forward to. It is so good. And of course, we're sharing the quote of the day, Acid Quote Tees. Available now on Etsy. Head on over to the Etsy store where you can pick up your quote of the day. Merchandise for the Andrew Lake podcast. Today's quote is, "You give me wanderlust." This is so cute. I love this stuff so much. But you know what else is really good? Wearing new clothes. Now, I don't mean new clothes. I mean, not brand new, of course. We're not on that. We're just simple peasants. I only wear clothes that I've been given. I think about 90% of the clothes that I own have been given to me. And you get something of the essence of the people that used to wear it. The person that's worn it before you, the energy. And of course, a lot of my clothing is actually girls' clothing and given to me by girls. Don't ask me why, it's a bit strange. But if you can so much as afford brand new clothes, head on over to the Etsy store to get your Acid Quote tee. Proudly supporting and collaborating with the Andrew Lake podcast. Some people used to tell me that you're not meant to wear other people's clothes as pass-me-ons, hand-me-downs, second-hand clothes, because it gives the bad energy to you. And I say, well, what if the person that used to own the clothes actually had good energy? And I've had that experience. I've felt really amazing in other people's clothes if they've got a different frequency. And it's not even about better or worse. It's just different. It's just something new. It's a different flavor. And of course, some clothes do resonate more than others. There's some clothes, like you can't just wear anything. There's only a certain amount of clothes. There's only certain kinds of clothes that really do suit you and that you are really going to wear. If you just get anything, then you'll just neglect it and you'll never put it on and you'll never feel comfortable wearing it if you just try and do anything. Almost like with getting into a relationship. But wait, never mind about that. You give me wanderlust. Now, with this one, let's get a bit technical. Let's get a bit into the psychology of this. There are 3 levels to understand here. One is lust. One is desire. And one is longing. Lust is of the body. Lust is of food and sex. And yes, I include food in the category of lust. We most commonly in popular psychology call this a base need, a primal need, a physiological process, biological process. Of course, later on we can argue that this so-called base is actually something very different, and this biology or physicality, we can separate the physiosphere and the biosphere, and we can put them into actually different metrics that don't put them down the bottom. They're actually somewhere else. But that's later on. Just for this conversation, we'll keep it simple. Lust is a base level. Then we have desire. Now, of course, desire is much bigger. There's a lot more to desire. And in transpersonal psychology, we say desire is something of the mind. It's the ideas, it's the images, it's the thoughts, it's the dialogue inside you. And of course, that dialogue is connected to your feelings, your emotions, your energy, your perception, your experiences, your environment, and just generally your body. So it is connected to the base level. And desire can mean so many things. The object of desire is so many things. How many things can you desire? So many things. And you desire it in so many ways, with so much grinding of teeth, clenching of fists, hunching of the shoulders, squinting of the eyes. There is so much in desire. And you might think, well, it's not quite fair to call desire just a thing of the mind because it's so much connected to feeling. But really, when you look at it, desire is something of the mind. Desire is something that is driven by thought. Now, when we talk about transpersonal psychology or transcendental experiences, transcendence experiences, and how we get there, we do look at what comes first, the feeling or the thoughts. And in fact, in different scenarios, sometimes the feeling is first, sometimes the thought is first. And I don't mean first as in they occur first in time, because a lot of the time, in fact, thoughts come after, even though they are the driving factor in terms of the chronological timing of it. And you might find that thoughts come before or after the feelings. But the difference is the driving factor. What is the driving factor? And it's driving your being. Whether it's feelings driving your being or thoughts driving your being, it depends on the scenario. And desire is something of thoughts driving your feelings. And then we come to the third level. So we've got lust, desire, and then the third level, longing. Longing is of the heart. Longing is of higher awareness. Longing is very much of feeling. It's of love. It's of opening to connection. It is of wanting to have something more soulful, more true, more pure. Now that is a feeling. Longing is a feeling. It is of the body. And it does come with thoughts, but when you are in that third level, then you are driven by feeling. You are driven by longing. Now, a lot of the longings that we look at are very much of different feelings. So we can actually divide this into primary feeling and secondary feeling, where we say if longing is the primary feeling, then the secondary feelings are less authentic, which is that you feel certain things because you're not feeling the primary authentic feeling, which is the longing for love. And in that case, we say that your longing is for love, but you feel desire because you're not connected to your feeling of longing. And because you feel desire, you've got all the thoughts that go along with it. And the thoughts that are driving around and around the feelings of desire. And if you can't desire, then you've just been stuck into lust. And if you're stuck in lust, then you feel lust because you can't feel desire. You're feeling lust because you're feeling the desire of lust. Or at least we can put it in underneath the feeling of lust. The feeling of desire, sorry. So feelings are something that we thread through all levels, but they are not primary until you get to longing. It's not until you are in touch with loving that you really get into this sense of pure feeling being your driving force. All remember this old saying, follow your feeling. And this is exactly why this is a problem. Because follow your feeling does work if you're in touch with your longing. If you're in touch with your want, your drive, your search for love, for soul, for peace, for awareness, for higher understanding, then follow your feeling works great. But if you're filled with all these other feelings that are secondary to that primary feeling of longing, then following your feeling takes you off in completely the wrong directions. It takes you into desire. It takes you into lust. Now, in the long road, it does work, because if you follow your lust, then you get driven into desire, and if you follow your desire, it drives you into longing, but not without a lot of exhausting wrong directions and a long and meandering way, a journey that might take you a lifetime, even longer than your life. You can very much get caught into desire far longer than the time that you have to live. And that's why we understand here, and with this so easily explained to you, you understand that love is important. You want to feel love. You want to be loved. That shouldn't be difficult for you to understand. That shouldn't be hard for you to agree with. You want to feel the things that open up your heart. And if you don't have that opening, then you will be driven with desires that will bring you to the things that will give some sense of that. You'll fall into addictions, self-destructive behaviors, coping mechanisms, numbing mechanisms. And the thing that all of these substances and wrong directions have in common is that they give a pseudo experience of love. They give a kind of fake love, a temporary love, a temporary opening. And I remember this. I've done this myself. I've fallen for this many times. I've tried many substances, of course. I've tried many coping mechanisms, and I've got many of my habits, many of my things that I've got going on. I'm no saint. I'm no angel. I'm not holier than thou, no doubt. I remember, just to take one example, we should also get back to this thing of wanderlust as well at this point, at some point. Okay, so I want to get back to this thing of wanderlust, but I also want to talk to you a little bit about grass and my experiences with that, because that's related to this thing of taking a secondary choice when you can't open your heart and you can't have the longing for love. And grass is one of those substances that very much can cause feelings of openness, of difference, or at least that's been my experience. So I'll tell you about some grass stories in a moment, but first let me explain this acid quote T of the acid quote of the day, which is that you give me wanderlust. So this is a play on the idea that you know when you see someone that you desire, they give you the feeling of lust. And yet if you know that, then you know it's just the person that is there by coincidence, and you really just have the feeling within you because that's something that wants to come out of you. And if you're aware of that, then you know it's just you and it's got nothing to do with the person. And if that's the case, you can say, well, it's not so much you that I lustfully desire, it is that I just desire to have this lust come out of me. That means, in a roundabout way, you want to travel. You want to open. You want to have new experiences. And one of the things that we call the desire to travel is wanderlust. So that's why this quote is, instead of I have lust for you, or I desire you, or I love you, or any sort of combination or variant of that, which is all the same thing really, it is that I feel wanderlust when I see you, which is that I know I have this desire for you, but I'm going for something bigger. I'm going for the longing to open. And the greatest longing to open is the longing to travel, to go to a new country, to meet new people, to meet interesting people, to hear other stories, to try new foods, to have new smells, to see things you've never seen before, to see things you've seen many times before, but in a way that you've never seen them before. Wanderlust is a deep longing. Wanderlust is very much a longing of the heart. It's a deeper desire. It's of soul. It's of authenticity. And it's a bit of a backhanded comment to say, you give me wanderlust. And it's like, well, what? You don't desire me? Or you do desire me? So anyway, that's a bit about the quote of the day. Now, let's talk about grass. In my life, I've only done grass a couple of times. I've done it with trying to think like how long ago this was. It must have been over 8 years ago since I last did grass. And I did it once with and then a few years before that, I would have done it once with Pony, or not even with Pony, but I would have been doing it with Pony. Well, I would have been in the room when Pony was doing it, when she was smoking grass, and then I would have inhaled some of the passive smoke. And then I would have been doing it once with, I'm trying to think, Lily and Bucko, where that was a terrible experience because I had so much and I was also having rum at the same time. This would have been over 15 years ago now. And it was so bad, I completely greened out on the front lawn, and I still remember Bucko saying, "Mate, you got to come inside. You're on the front lawn and the neighbors are worried about you." And I was hearing what he was saying. And yet I was so terribly rotten from the experience, I couldn't move. And then with Pony, that was very much a heart-opening experience because I loved her very much. And she was an amazing girlfriend, amazing woman who I wanted to be with and I wanted to help very much. I was very much willing to help her, and she was needing someone to come and save her. And yet she couldn't accept it. She couldn't accept my love. I was very much willing to support her and do everything that she needed. And she needed quite a lot from where she was at, but she simply couldn't accept it. So that was very unfortunate. I don't know what happened to Pony. I hope she made it through. I really do hope she made it through. I hope one day I can hear that she's doing okay. But she had some really tough chapters in her life around that time when I was with her. So wherever you are, Pony, I send you warm wishes. And then that one time with I don't know if wants me using his name. He might get in trouble, so I might not use his name. But anyway, only one time with I actually enjoyed it, and we ended up giggling, and I had some auditory hallucinations, which was where we were sitting on the couch and a big freight train went past, and it was late at night. It was that late noise, distant train sound, and the sound of the train as it was whistling and humming past slowly and gradually turned into the sound of buzzing bees, like a swarm of bees. And it was so gradual that I didn't know when one changed into the other, and it continued on and became louder and louder. It was like this auditory hallucination, and I ended up giggling and we had a great time. So that's like what? That's like 3 times in the last 15 years or more. In fact, in my whole life, I think that's what I can say about having grass. I mean, I don't really like it. It's not a very interesting experience, I don't think. So yeah, I definitely don't need grass to feel the good vibes. I definitely don't need grass to feel happy. I just need a microphone and you and the well wishes of the day. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you again. I mean, I know it's strange. I know it's weird. I know it's unique. We don't know how we find ourselves in this situation, but I know there's love. I know there's joy. I know there's happiness. So I really look forward to talking to you again. I hope you can tune in for the next episode. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And I send you love, warm feelings. Stay cute. Enjoy your times. And we'll be back very soon with more. Head on over to the Etsy store, Acid Quote Tees, and have a beautiful day. Enjoy your times. See you later. Bye-bye.